Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the John Truman Wolfe Financial Hour. Now, here's John Truman Wolfe.
Hello, America. This is the John Truman Wolfe Financial Hour. I am John Truman Wolfe. Welcome to our show from the mountains north. This is south of Bakersfield, north of Los Angeles, the beautiful Los Padres National Forest, from which we are broadcasting today. Sunny day in La La Land. We've got a great show for you today. Some real expertise that you folks are going to be interested in. Before doing that, as we do each week, let me review very quickly the markets today. The Dow 27,897 off 88 points, but a hair below 28,000. And indeed, just a couple of hairs south of its highest ever. The S&P 3373 off 7 points. Gold 1952 plus 3890. Silver 2758 plus $2.03. Bitcoin 11741 plus 183. Ethereum screaming now, just really strong, 428 plus 38, and Ripple 2923 up 0.01. So everything's moving up with the exception of the equities markets, and they're just off a little bit. In fact, the NASDAQ was up again, which it has been for the last couple of weeks. The precious metals have recovered. The sell-off of gold and silver, very expected and very healthy. Those commodities have been moving up very strongly over the last few weeks. Gold got as high as 2,072, and then there was a shakeout of almost 200 points down to 1882. And it has bounced back now to 1952, and I think that shakeout is long over, and the bull market in gold and silver will continue. Silver had gotten as high, almost $30 an ounce, $29.77, shook down to $24.92, and is now trading, as I said, at $27.58. The purpose of those shakeouts, quite frankly, are just that, to shake investors out of those commodities, the manipulators, those that are driving those markets, buy as people bail out. And that was very sharp, very expected for those of you that follow such things. No markets go straight up. There are always setbacks. And in this case, I thought it was very, very healthy. The fact that these metals have recovered as strongly as they have in the last 24 hours is also a testament to exactly where these commodities are headed. We have for you today, folks, a show that I think you're really going to be interested in because we've got internet, not sure exactly what the proper phase is, but the real estate guru, a podcast guru, Jason Hartman, with us. Jason, one of the premier real estate voices in the country. And we're going to talk about real estate and real estate during the pandemic. We'll be right back. I'm John Truman Wolfe. We'll be back with Jason Hartman right after this. Stay with us.
In this time of global uncertainty, you need sound financial information to keep your investments, your future, as safe as possible. The Strategic Financial Intelligence Newsletter, created by John Truman Wolfe, #1 best-selling author and renowned financial consultant to governments around the world, is your most valuable asset. A monthly goldmine of the vital insight and insider information you need to stay on top. Right now, financial security is critical. That's why, for a limited time, we're dropping our price from $249 annually to just $99. That includes access to the entire Strategic Financial Intelligence archives, covering everything from precious metals, offshore banking, to cryptocurrencies, and the wildly heralded seminar on the covert agenda that has backed the U.S. dollar for at least 50 years, and more. Sign up now at strategicfinancialintelligence.com. That's strategicfinancialintelligence.com.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm John Truman Wolfe. This is the John Truman Wolfe Financial Hour. We have with us today Jason Hartman, jasonhartman.com. Jason has been involved in several thousand real estate transactions, has owned income properties in 11 states and 17 cities. His company, Platinum Properties Investor Network, Inc., helps people achieve the American dream of financial freedom by purchasing income property in prudent markets. Nationwide, Jason's complete solution for real estate investors is a comprehensive system providing real estate investors with education, research, resources, and technology to deal with all areas of their income property investments. That's from Jason's website, jasonhartman.com. Jason, thank you so much for joining us.
John, it's great to be here.
I spent a bit of time at your website, jasonhartman.com, and among other things, just to let the viewer in advance, before we get into our discussion, you've got a number of products that you make available, which are basically real estate training products, as I can tell. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Yes, but I would say the flagship of our products, if you will, is free, and it's the podcast. Just the Creating Wealth podcast is a fantastic resource on our YouTube channel and such.
Super. It's the Creating Wealth podcast. So look, let's jump into it. And I confess right out of the gate, I have been surprised at the strength of the real estate market during this pandemic business. And I know you're on the East Coast, you're in Florida, I'm in LA. I don't know how the market is back there, but generally nationwide it seems to be strong. And in Los Angeles, quite frankly, it's booming.
Yeah, it really is. And this, John, I grew up in Los Angeles, as I mentioned when we talked yesterday, and this is really a testament to the idea of don't try to time the market. Simply buy good investments, whether they be income properties or precious metals or crypto or, whatever your thing is, buy assets that make sense the day you buy them without expecting any extraordinary event to happen in the future. They must be sound the day you buy them, and you'll be okay if you do that. And in February and March, as people thought the world was coming to an end, clearly that did not happen, at least not so far. But I do want to give the disclaimer, if you will, that we are in the third inning of a 9-inning game here. So it's still early, and we can dive into what that means, of course. But anybody trying to time the market several months ago or even several years ago, they've been wrong. So be careful of the market timers.
That's the truth. Tell me now, and obviously there's all kinds of real estate investments folks can make. Do you help train people relative to what has been kind of a game here in Los Angeles, the buying houses, fixing them up, flipping them, multiple rentals, duplexes, triplexes, commercial real estate? What's good?
Yeah. So, over the decades that I've been in real estate, and, I'm not like one of these new people that hasn't been through many cycles. I've been through many, many cycles in the market, recessionary and expansion cycles. And, we help investors build nationwide portfolios. And we really look at three types of markets, John: linear markets, cyclical markets, and hybrid markets. And we don't like the cyclical markets. We don't do any flipping. All of our investors follow a very prudent long-term strategy that really works and has worked over the centuries, if you will. And that is just buy and hold. Just buy good properties, hold them for yield, for income. Flipping, money can be made for sure, but it's very speculative and things can turn the other way and you can get hurt very quickly and pay it all back. So, we just deal with really conservative investors who want to earn a nice yield off their properties, exceeding, 20 to 25% annually. And to some that may sound rather high, but it's really not, because income property is a multi-dimensional asset class, and you earn that return in many ways rather than just one way. Whereas, cryptocurrency or precious metals, although money can be certainly made, those are one-dimensional. The whole game is buy low, sell high. That's it. Income property, buy low, sell high, get income, get tax benefits, get leverage, get what I call inflation-induced debt destruction, add value through smart improvements. There are many sources of return with income property.
The Creating Wealth podcast covers all kinds of experts and areas of interest in the real estate world. How did you get started in real estate?
When I was 16 years old, I grew up in Los Angeles. I grew up poor, and, I saw an infomercial for a real estate guru at age 16, and that really influenced me. I went and I got his book, and I read 3 chapters. I put it down. My mom read the rest, and she got interested in the topic, started going to seminars, reading more books, and when I was 18, she said, Jason, you got me interested in this real estate investing stuff. There's a big seminar in Anaheim this weekend by Disneyland. Why don't you go? So I rounded up 9 of my buddies from high school, and I went to the seminar. And I didn't know what they were talking about at the seminar, so I figured that I would just get my real estate license to kind of understand the basics. And so my first year of college, when I was 19, I got my real estate license, and I started selling real estate part-time as a college student, and I did really pretty well with it, actually. And I had a few investor clients, and one of them, a gentleman named Jim Wolfe, had purchased a few properties from me, and about 6 months into my career, when I was 20 and a half, he had a property he wanted to sell that he had purchased from me. He said he didn't like it very much. And he said, why don't you take the listing and sell it for me, and I'll buy something else from you? And I said, I don't want to sell it for you. I want to buy it from you. And that was my first rental property at age 20 years old. And it's been a great ride since then.
Wow. And you've been at it for a while. I want to talk about what the Fed's doing, how that's affected the real estate market. Mike, we've got a graph we're going to put up which shows what's happened to real estate, to interest rates over the last several years. Folks, we're talking to Jason Hartman, creator of the Creating Wealth podcast. He is at jasonhartman.com, and we're going to talk interest rates when we come back from this break. Please stay with us.
Experiencing pain? Back pain, shoulder, elbow, or hand pain? Pain from a sports injury? If so, schedule a visit with Dr. Michael Sheps, the leading expert in laser therapy for pain management. Call 310-873-4422 or go to drsheps.com. Experience Epic T, the breakthrough laser therapy system that Dr. Sheps developed to make you pain-free in less time. Laser therapy is a non-invasive, safe, and effective in-office procedure that penetrates deep into your skin without damaging the tissue. It perfectly targets areas of pain to promote fast, natural healing. Relax your muscles, ease muscle spasms, joint stiffness, and arthritis pain while increasing blood circulation. For over 25 years, Dr. Sheps has helped Olympic athletes and sports enthusiasts alike get back in the game. Schedule your visit with Dr. Sheps at his Brentwood office in California. Call 310-873-4422 or visit drsheps.com. That's DRSHEPS.com, 310-873-4422.
When you really want Italian food, you've got to get to Columbo's. Columbo's Italian Steakhouse and Jazz Club, Colorado Boulevard, Eagle Rock. It's that little neighborhood place you wish was down the street from you. My dear friends, today things are so confusing. It's enough to boggle the mind. That's why it's vitally important. In fact, it's an absolute imperative that you indulge in brain food, provided by the noted Institute of Good Times and Great Yum Yums, Columbo's. Just come on down. Columbo's provides the remedies and elixirs, such as mouth-watering steaks, incredibly edible seafood, Columbo's family secret Italian specialties, and the pièce de resistance, the world's greatest meatballs. Imagine margaritas on the Columbo's patio, cerveza and other liquid refreshments, or take your pick and bring it all back home and enjoy the great indoors. Columbo's, saving the world from gloom and doom with great grub and glee. Happy, happy, happy Columbo's. Mangia bene.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. They want your money, and guess what? They can legally take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you. So what do? Fight back by letting our team of experts at the Tax Helpline work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws and will fight to save your money. So if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket.
800-932-1597. 800-932-1597. 800-932-1597. That's 800-932-1597.
All right, folks, we're back. This is the John Truman Wolfe Financial Hour. I'm John Truman Wolfe. We're talking to real estate guru, internet podcast. I don't know, guru's kind of a poor term, I suppose, Jason. But JasonHartman.com, prior to the break, talking about why real estate investing makes sense and what kind makes sense. And there's a tremendous amount of data up on Jason's site. The Creating Wealth podcast is up there. But before we cut away, I had our producer throw a graph up of the interest rates, which are back down to zero, Jason, and the Fed has said they're going to keep them there at least until 2022. This is at least in my mind, a major factor that's driving the real estate market. What say you?
Yeah, no question about it. The interest rates aren't actually zero. They're literally negative interest rates. People are getting paid to borrow money. And it is absolutely shocking how misleading what we hear in the mainstream media is. It is so misleading because people will show, if you tune into CNBC, for example, some talking head will show a graph of housing prices at what they consider to be the peak of the market, maybe 2006, give or take. And they'll show the prices today and they'll say, well, housing is overvalued. But what they never tell you, John, is that the cost of housing, the way people actually buy real estate, is not on a price, it's on a payment. It's on a monthly payment. And if you look at interest rates then versus now, just a quick analysis, and not even adjusting for inflation. Okay, and this is nominal dollars, not real dollars. So it gets even better when you adjust for inflation, which we can do if you'd like. But in 2006, the rate was, for the typical owner-occupied mortgage, was 6.41%, meaning a $100,000 mortgage, just for round numbers, would cost you $626 a month. Today, you can get $170,000 in mortgage for the same monthly payment. And if you adjust that monthly payment for inflation, it gets even better, because the monthly payment based on 2006 dollars is only, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which understates inflation dramatically because of weighting, substitution, and hedonics, which I'm sure you've talked about and we can go into. Understating inflation is only $493 a month. So Uncle Jerome Powell, our rich uncle, Jerome Powell being the Federal Reserve chairman, has given us all a huge gift. And if we don't take advantage of it, we are really, really missing out on our gift from our rich uncle, Jerome Powell.
Has the fact that these rates have gone down affected, in other words, is there, I imagine there's a coordination, I haven't looked at a graph, of as rates go down, real estate sales go up, the prices, but the sales of real estate. I mean, is it cause and effect?
It is cause and effect, but there is something that can also be misleading in those statistics. In a market like we've been in for many years, which has only gotten worse and worse, where you have extremely low interest rates and a lot of buyer interest and an increase in housing affordability, you have a whole nother problem. Inventory is constrained and sales aren't as high as they would be because there's literally nothing to sell. There is no inventory. We only have in California, for example, and don't quote me on this exactly, it's not an exact number, but I interviewed the chief economist for the California Association of Realtors on my podcast this morning, Leslie Appleton Young, and we only have about 2.5 months of inventory of properties, meaning with the current absorption rate and the number of properties on the market, there's only 2.5 months of supply. Where, to give you a comparison, there's usually about 6 or 7 months of supply. So supply is very, very constrained, and that is leading to just massive, really dysfunctions in the market.
All right, we'll be back with Jason Hartman in just a moment. Folks, jasonhartman.com, the Creating Wealth podcast. We're going to talk more real estate and some other investments when we come back. Stay with us. This is John Truman Wolfe.
Do you want to fly somewhere, anywhere in the world? Smart travelers call myflightsearch.com for the best deals on flight tickets. Going to Manila, Bangkok, London, how about Singapore? Call myflightsearch.com for the lowest flight tickets available. What about a local vacation? Let's say you want to fly to Vegas, Orlando, Miami, Los Angeles, or Denver. Pick up the phone and call myflightsearch.com right now. We have exclusive deals that you can't find anywhere else. The only way you can get these low airline prices is by calling us. We have so many low prices available, we can't possibly tell them to you right here and now. If you're flying somewhere anytime in the next 6 months and you want the lowest airline ticket prices anywhere, you owe it to yourself to save a ton of money. So pick up your cell phone and call Call myflightsearch.com right now.
Call 800-445-3166. 800-445-3166. That's 800-445-3166. Call now. 800-445-3166.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Attention Italian food lovers. Angelo's and Vinci's Ristorante in Fullerton, California is open for takeout with wine. Can you believe it? Angelo's and Vinci's Takeout is now able to offer you a nice bottle of wine to enjoy with your meal. Order today and get 1/2 price on our special selection of Pinot Grigio, Chianti, Chardonnay, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Merlot. Mamma mia! Order today at Angelo's and Vinci's from our complete award-winning menu and get some great wine for 1/2 price. We hope you're healthy and safe. We want to keep you well fed. Wapo's To Go Kitchen is open from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. every day, or you can order through DoorDash. Pizza dough, bread, sauces still being made fresh every day. Angelo's and Vinci's named Best Italian Restaurant on the Orange County Hot List. Call 714-879-4022. Angelo's and Vinci's, 550 North Harbor in Fullerton, California. Call 714-879-4022. That's 714-879-4022.
In this time of global uncertainty, you need sound financial information to keep your investments, your future, as safe as possible. The Strategic Financial Intelligence Newsletter, created by John Truman Wolfe, #1 best-selling author and renowned financial consultant to governments around the world, is your most valuable asset. A monthly goldmine of the vital insight and insider information you need to stay on top. Right now, financial security is critical. That's why, for a limited time, we're dropping our price from $249 annually to just $99. That includes access to the entire Strategic Financial Intelligence archives, covering everything from precious metals, offshore banking, to cryptocurrencies, and the wildly heralded seminar on the covert agenda that has backed the U.S. dollar for at least 50 years and more. Sign up now at strategicfinancialintelligence.com. That's strategicfinancialintelligence.com.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm John Truman Wolfe. This is the John Truman Wolfe Financial Hour, talking to Jason Hartman of, Creating Wealth podcast. Excuse me. And we were talking, among other things, interest rates and constrained real estate inventory. Jason, is that situation meaning a constrained inventory? I know it's true in California. What about the rest of the country?
It's pretty much true in most markets nationwide. In the second quarter of this year, when everybody thought the world was collapsing, 96% of the metro areas in the United States, there are about 400 markets in the U.S., increased in value. So there is an extreme housing shortage. This was true before COVID, 1984. Hope you like my sarcasm there. And it's an Orwellian pandemic, and but it's even more pronounced now because, John, the home is the center of the universe. People are stuck at home. They're working at home. They're working out at home. The gym is closed. The schools are closed. The offices are closed. Everything is about the home, and this is the most important asset I wouldn't be looking at commercial real estate right now. I would be looking at housing. That's where the play is. But, also, I just want to mention, I'm happy to talk about some of the broader issues in the economy outside of real estate. So, take the conversation wherever you want.
Will do. Let me just kind of educate the audience a little bit further, because before we cut away to the last break, Jason was talking about what are essentially negative interest rates. And for you folks that don't follow such things, in areas of Europe, throughout Europe, there's 17 trillion, that's with a T, folks, $17 trillion worth of negative interest rate bonds. That means, okay, you've got 50 grand you're going to invest in a government bond. You give the government 50 grand, which in the past would get you X percent of quote, safe revenue. Not anymore. What happens is over the period of time, the government gives you returns your investment. You don't get the 50 grand back. You get back 48.7 or something like that. In other words, you pay these governments to hold your money. You pay them. They don't pay you. It's a trend that's expanding. Do you think negative rates are coming here, Jason? I mean, for real.
Yeah. I would argue that we already have negative interest rates. But just to dovetail on your point, John, think about it, folks. Just think about the new paradigm in which we are operating. Everybody used to consider the time value of money and a cost of money. For example, I would rather have money today than money tomorrow. And when I was a kid, there was a cartoon character that taught me all about inflation and the present value of money. And that was, of course, Wimpy on Popeye. His famous line was, "I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today." In other words, he wanted to enjoy the hamburger now, and he wanted to pay later because he could pay back that money owed for the hamburger in cheaper dollars. That's what happens in an inflationary environment. Well, the Fed has very publicly stated for many, many years that their target inflation rate is 2%. Well, guess what? You can get a mortgage today for 1.99%. I kid you not.
It's unbelievable.
It's totally unbelievable. They're literally paying you to borrow the money, and then you take into account the tax deductibility of that mortgage, and it gets even better. And you take into account the true inflation rate, not the stated inflation rate, and it gets dramatically better. So it's a new world, and we all have to act in a certain way to, number one, survive, but number two, thrive in this new world.
I had mentioned this last week. I'm going to repeat it for our listeners. It's almost a given. But, folks, if you've got a mortgage, that you got a few years ago, for goodness sakes, talk to your mortgage broker at the very least about a refi. Because the mortgage broker that is a dear friend of mine for many years, he's doing mortgages around the mid-twos faster than he can move the paperwork. So a 2.5% mortgage today, Jason mentioned 1.99, which I've seen advertised, but even a 2.5% mortgage today has got to be much lower than what you've got unless you just refinanced a few weeks ago. When I was a banker in San Francisco, go ahead.
What we have to realize is that most people are trained to think the mortgage is a liability. But if that mortgage is attached to a good quality property that produces income, it is an asset. The mortgage is an asset. It's an incredible asset.
I started to say when I was a banker up in San Francisco in my earlier life, we'd do mortgages all along for 6, 7, 8%. 8% was an acceptable mortgage at that time. A really, really good deal was 6.5, 7. Folks, we're down to 2%. So let me take you up on your origination, Jason, and let's talk about a couple other things. And I'll go back in my own mind, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, thinking that the digital currencies, cryptocurrencies were a joke. They weren't going anywhere. Bitcoin, pure speculation. But the world has changed. Digital currencies are not going away. They will do nothing but expand, in my opinion. And one of the technology that facilitates digital currencies and other digital assets is something called blockchain, which you may well have heard about. The primary company that facilitates blockchain is a company called Ethereum. And we're going to talk to Jason Hartman when we come back a little bit about the digital currency universe and his view of that compared to real estate. I'm John Truman Wolfe. We will be back right after these messages. Do stay with us.
How would you like to save up to $500 on your next vacation package? Any vacation package anywhere in the world. Just call Superior Travel and mention the code RADIO and save up to $500. We'll design a custom, fantastic vacation just for you with all the bells and whistles. Not some cookie-cutter vacation, but a unique, all-included vacation customized by one of our exclusive travel experts. And our service is completely free. You pay nothing more. So why waste your time? Let us do it for you. We've got over 100 years of travel experience to help create the perfect trip for you. Call now and learn how to save up to $500 on your next custom vacation. Pick up the phone, call Superior Travel, and use the code word RADIO.
800-570-9631. 800-570-9631. That's 800-570-9631.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm John Truman Wolfe talking to Jason Hartman of the Creating Wealth podcast, and we're talking about real estate. And before I cut away, brought up the subject of digital currencies. And I had the pleasure of doing Jason's podcast yesterday, and we talked briefly about the fact, and I remember it, I don't think I'll forget it, the conversation that Christine Lagarde had at a conference in New York. This is some months back when she was the head of the International Monetary Fund. And some reporter basically goaded her about digital currencies, thinking she was going to brush them off. And she did just the opposite. She embraced them. She's now the president of the ECB, the European Central Bank. But this is a powerful woman in global finance. Whether or not her decisions are helpful to people or not is another subject. The woman's a communist, but that's another subject. But the world has changed, and digital currencies are investment vehicles. Some are nothing other than pure speculation. They have nothing behind them really, other than people's emotions and agreements. But some represent production. Ripple, for instance, is a digital currency that represents a product that facilitates international bank transfers that happen in an instant. And as I cut away, I was talking about Ethereum, which is a software developed by, I don't know how old the kid was when he developed it, maybe 22, and he's now worth, I don't know, hundreds of millions of dollars. But this software helps companies develop their own blockchain, which is basically the vehicle by which digital currencies and other things travel on the internet. Jason, your thoughts on digital currencies, and I don't know if you're familiar with Ethereum or not, but I'd be interested in your views.
Yeah. Very, very, very familiar with all of this stuff. I have another podcast called the Crypto Cast, where I talk about all of this extensively. And I want to start off by saying that, number one, I would love to be wrong about what I'm about to say. Okay, I would love to be wrong about this, because I would love nothing more than to see a decentralized currency that is in the control of the people rather than governments and central banks. However, I think governments and central banks are the most powerful entities the human race has ever known. Yep. And their primary product, their widget, their whole business is producing and controlling currency. And they are not going to give that up. So what they will do is they will create their own digital currencies. China is rushing to create one now. They may use the blockchain, which is a fantastic system, but the blockchain really has nothing to do with Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything else, in the sense that it would make those things a good or bad investment. The blockchain is completely independent of cryptocurrencies. It can be used for all sorts of great applications, like real estate title, just any sort of trust mechanism in an electronic network like the internet. Blockchain is great, but that doesn't mean that Ripple or Ethereum or Bitcoin will win the day just because blockchain is good. That's like saying, roads are good, but, Yugo is the car of the future, right? It just, it uses a road. Okay, well, so do lots of other cars. So they're really separate things. So digital currencies are the future. There's no question that cryptocurrencies are the future. And I think COVID will be used. Never let a good crisis go to waste, as Winston Churchill said, but Rahm Emanuel is wrongly credited with that quote. Digital currencies are great for governments and central banks because they could institute a social scoring system like the one China has, and they could impoverish people with the click of a mouse or a computer algorithm if they don't like what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're posting online. We will have no more privacy, no more spending privacy if they take away cash. And there are a lot of reasons they would want to do that, and there are a lot of clues that that's what they're moving toward now. And when I say they, I mean governments and central banks all around the world.
Well, Jason, I can't. I'm not surprised, but I'm a little surprised at how much our points of view align on this. I don't think there's any question, and I don't like saying it like you didn't like saying it, but that is the direction of global finance, which is to implement, ideally, a global and international digital currency, which will relieve or make impossible or take away the national currencies. As you mentioned, China, Beijing is looking to develop one. There are all kinds of stories about the fact that they have developed it. Moscow is doing the same. There have even been peeps out of the Fed that they're talking about doing it here. So digital currencies are going to be the future. And I don't like it. I don't think Jason likes it. And we're going to come back for our last segment. We'll talk a little bit about this and back to real estate a bit and see how folks get started in real estate if they want to. John Truman, Wolfe Financial Hour. We'll be right back.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 888-912-1332. 888-912-1332. 888-912-1332. Call right now. 888-912-1332.
For the getaway of your dreams, come to Hawaii's Playground, Kaanapali Beach Resort, on the fun side of Maui, where the world comes to play. Find your spot on Kaanapali Beach with 3 miles of white sand, 12 resort properties, 2 golf courses, and 2 shopping centers. Enjoy the playground of Hawaii's ancient royalty. Kaanapali Beach Resort is Hawaii's original master planned destination resort and home of the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival. With views of 2 neighboring islands, you can breathe in the land's natural beauty from your favorite resort or golf fairway. Come experience Kaanapali's own special brand of Hawaiian hospitality with world-class dining, relaxing resorts, water sports, and activities of every kind. For romantic, family, and great friend getaways, discover the options of Kaanapali Beach Resort, where the world comes to play. Plan your getaway today. Visit KaanapaliResort.com. That's KAANAPALI Resort.com.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Newsflash, the president has changed the tax laws, and now you may be able to pay the IRS less. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, the tax doctor can help you pay the IRS as little as possible allowed by law. There are new tax laws for business owners, the self-employed, even W-2 workers. If you have a back tax problem or a few years of unfilled returns, new help to save you money is now here. Call right now to see how the new tax laws can help you. Plus, right now, we'll waive the consultation fee and give you a free tax savings report. Attention business owners, the self-employed, and W-2 workers. Make this free call to the tax doctor now and learn how to take advantage of the new tax laws that may help you pay the IRS less. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. 800-985-1610. That's 800-985-1610.
All right, folks, this is John Truman Wolfe. We're back with our last segment with Jason Hartman. Jason, let me backtrack with you. What is the quote average Joe do? Somebody that's got maybe some money in a 401k or an IRA or just stuck aside and finally goes, okay, I should get involved in some real estate investing. Where's obviously they have to be educated, but where do you direct such folks?
At the risk of sounding like a shameless self-promoter, I would tell them to go to jasonhartman.com and listen to my podcast. But it's really quite easy. I mean, income property is the most historically proven asset class in the entire world. It's the most tax-favored asset class in America, and taxes are the single largest expense in anybody's life. So we've got to learn how to reduce our tax liability, and income property is a great way to do that. It's a multi-dimensional asset class, so people can earn in many ways, and we can help them do that. That's what my firm does, and I've been doing that for 17 years now.
All right, folks, there you go. It's jasonhartman.com, jasonhartman.com, and there's a wealth of information up there. Among other things, and I'll be shameless Hartman promoter, and go in the product section. There's all kinds of educational materials up there, which I think are terrific. Jason, listen, we'll have to do this again. I really enjoy it. There's a lot of things I think we could talk about further. That said, we're going to call it for today, and hopefully you can come back, and maybe I can join you on a show, and we'll talk some more about how we see the world as cash starts to go away and the digital currencies begin to engulf the world.
John,
so thanks for joining us.
This is a time people need to act to protect themselves. And it was great talking with you, and I just want to say happy investing to you and your listeners.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks so very much. And we'll endeavor, folks, to get Jason back for another show. Again, go to his site, jasonhartman.com. It's HARTMAN.com. And among other things, peruse the products. You can also get a bunch of background material. There's a lot of pictures up there of Jason with all kinds of celebrities. A couple of friends of mine there. I see a picture of Jason with Vonnie Ribisi and Beck and all kinds of folks. If you're considering real estate, that's a destination that you should go to. Definitely a definite destination you should go to. And, real estate or interest rate stay as they have been for the last several months. And as the Fed says, they're going to continue for the next couple of years. Jason makes extremely compelling points about why, among other things, real estate is an asset that you should be investing in. We'll talk some more next week about precious currencies, and I look forward to having you join us next Thursday at 4 o'clock. I'm John Truman Wolfe, and this is the John Truman Wolfe Financial Hour, and we'll see you next week at 4 o'clock. As a quick, before we sign off, as a quick bit of information, you can listen to the show on your cell smartphone. Dial pound 250, and when the prompt comes up, say CRN, which stands for the Cable Radio Network, but CRN, and you can download the app and listen to the show anywhere. All right, folks, see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Mr. Pop.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio shows sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 7 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before.